For more on this, we're joined by SABC News politics editor Mzwandile Mbeche. Good afternoon, Mzwandile. Developments now insofar as that 48-hour deadline that we heard from John Steenhuisen yesterday at 3:30 from Parliament. It seems the presidency says it remains the president's prerogative to hire and fire. They clearly will not be moved by this deadline.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and the viewers. And indeed, as much as we said it yesterday, I think the statement from the president has basically clarified what his role is. And he went beyond to actually say, upon taking a decision, so he was able to then speak to the leader of the DA to say, because this lot is reserved for you, the DA, please give me the name of the person you would want me to put in there, because this one has obviously defied instructions and then went to the trip abroad without any authorization. So the president has made it clear to say, whatever is it that I'm doing, so I have the prerogative to do certain things. The fact that he went on and even consult in terms of the replacement, so then does put the DA in a very difficult situation. Interestingly, Mfundo, they have their own press briefing at 3 tomorrow to perhaps respond to this. So clearly the president is not going to comply with that deadline. So the next question is, what does the DA now? Because the president has just called their bluff.
But insofar as the Democratic Alliance is concerned, when it comes to Mr. Whitfield, they've still gone on to defend him, to say he sought permission, and for 10 days there was silence, there was no response from the president, and then he embarked on the trip, and then after that came back to even write another email apologizing. But one would still say, when you view all of that, it still doesn't mean you were granted permission. It says you indicated your intention to travel.
The president has made it clear that it was not authorized. In fact, going as far as to then quote other cases, you'd recall during President Mandela's time, when something similar happened to Winnie Madikizela Mandela. We remember the time of former President Thabo Mbeki as well, Miss Madla Rutledge. So those are examples that the president has cited to say this is not necessarily something new. When the president feels his authority is being undermined, then he needs to act, and that's exactly what he has done. It's not doing this thing, it's not something that is first to be done. So President Mandela did it, President Mbeki did it. So as for the DA, perhaps I think the DA felt that because we are in a GNU setup, perhaps there will be some sort of leniency, but I think the president was clear. The fact that the president is not necessarily removing the DA completely, but is basically saying, I am removing this individual, please give me another individual from your own party. And then the DA somehow seems to be overreacting, I think, in my view, because now you're giving the president the ultimatum whilst he's exercising his own constitutional powers. So quite interesting.
But they've emphasized that in as much as it is the president's prerogative insofar as the composition of cabinet is concerned, but they've also said that we cannot forget the context under which this cabinet came to be, that now it's under the GNU, so meaning there would be a degree of consultation. So it seems they felt entitled to at least some sort of a conversation that there's been a transgression, I am thinking of doing this.
Yes, I think in this instance, I think the president basically said, this is the decision I'm taking. I'm removing Mr. Whitfield from the executive. Give me one of your own. I think for me, there should be sufficient consultation on the part of the president. That's why I'm not sure why the DA would react in the manner in which it did. If, let's say, the president decided to say, I'm removing your deputy minister, I'm putting someone else from another part, perhaps this kind of reaction may be justified. But under these current circumstances, it's that you are not doing the work, you are not complying or even respecting what you're supposed to respect. You even yourself agree that, well, I should have done it differently. So someone in charge decides to say, okay, I'm not going to be able to work with this one. But because we're in the GNU setup, I'm not removing the DA. I'm removing you, and then the DA bring me someone else from your own party, and you go on to give the ultimatum to the president. It's quite strange. I know it's the GNU setup, but I wonder what is it that they'll say at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, because the president has made it clear to say you can't be giving me ultimatums. So what is it they are going to say? Are they walking out of the GNU? I don't think it's the easy decision to make. But
Yeah.
given the nature of reaction, perhaps that is even a consideration.
But one assumes that you cannot constantly make this threat of walking away, because at some point then it will no longer be as strong as it should be. Because one thinks you should use that card or that threat at a very crucial time. But we've heard it so many times that many people, I suppose, might not call their bluff. But they seem to also be perpetuating a narrative that there might be more to this than just the matter of him traveling without permission. They seem to be linking this to his questions, or posing very strong questions around the National Lottery's license.
But I think the fact that the president has gone to explain something that he is not even required to do by the Constitution, perhaps does tell you that he wants to clarify for all of us to know what exactly is the reason why he took the decision he took. And let's not forget, we are in the political space. And by the way, we are not far from the next local government elections.
Yeah.
So everything that is playing now, you may think it's just for the now. It's actually now starting to look to the future, because 2026 local government elections are coming. And I even spoke about this yesterday to say we saw the motion of no confidence against the mayor of Johannesburg, sponsored by the DA. So clearly telling you that politically the DA also needs to gain some traction. So if this helps it to gain traction politically, certainly they will use it. But I guess it will be interesting to see what their next move is, especially because they have publicly done this. So for me, this is very interesting. And also, Mfundo, perhaps this may also play in the hands of the ANC, NEC. We know that there are some members in the NEC who feel, others feel the DA needs to be booted out. Well, there are those who say, no, it's fine, they can still be around, but we need to perhaps bring in more members of other political parties who are willing to work with us. So clearly, these kind of actions by the DA may strengthen that other hand. So when the NEC meets in 2 weeks, perhaps this issue will now be looked at even more thoroughly, and it will be interesting. So what sort of decisions will come out of there? And we await the president, whether he will move in terms of the cabinet reshuffle or not. But once he has also met with his own party, he's likely to be informed otherwise as well.
Could the DA have overplayed their hand? We'll find out tomorrow at 3:30, as they say when they have that briefing. Mzwandile, as always, thank you very much for that analysis. That is SABC News politics editor Mzwandile Mbeje.